Hey, what's up, boys? It's your boy, Kid of Kermit, and we're gonna be talking about today's story. Today's story is about the time I got caught at school with weed. It was the first time I did weed, and we're gonna be talking about what what happened in these events, and why, how, and why I got caught, and what I did when I did get caught. It's actually four main characters in today's story: me, my friend, the teacher who caught us, the principal, and of course the resource officer. So the principal is just called the principal, the resource officer is just going to be called cop, and my friend is going to be called Kobe. So, your boy and Kobe, we were in the bathroom in the school. We were gonna be smoking some weed. He talked me into smoking some weed in in um in school. And if you're ever gonna smoke weed, don't do it in school. Like, do it outside the building so they can't the school can't kick you out, and they can just like do some other stuff with you. Because when you're outside school property, they can't really do anything. It's the police. But don't do it in school because you're probably not gonna get caught if you do it. Don't do it in school, you know. And so what happened was is me and Kobe goes to the bathroom, and we were in the bathroom. He had the weed, and he took it out of his bag and stuff because he had his book bag with him, his book bag, and he was just packing the bowl. We were in the stall. We were in the big giant what is that thing called? Like where the wheelchair would go. It's like the big giant one. It's normally the one at the end. It's 4 stalls in this bathroom, and it's 2 girls. So we're over there. He's over there packing the bowl, and I've seen him. I've seen many of my friends smoke, so I know how to like do it and stuff, you know. And he packs it, and he's like, "Yo, you want to do some shrooms?" And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna do shrooms," because he was gonna go to a party after school. He was just gonna leave school at lunch because this took place a period before lunch, and after lunch he was gonna leave, but you'll find out why we couldn't leave. And so, sorry about my phone. My friend is blowing me up. Hold on. Okay. So we're in the bathroom. We're just sitting there doing our thing, and we're getting ready to smoke. I take a hit, and I'm in 6th grade at the time, so this is middle school, and he's in 7th. So I take a hit. I take a big one because it's my boy. You know, I want to impress him. You know, and oh my god, and so I take a big one. He takes one, vice versa. We're probably there for about 15-20 minutes. Our teacher realized I'm gone. I've been at the bathroom for 15-20 minutes. So he calls down to the office. Of course, the office didn't make it there in time because Mr. Oldley, our teacher, the teacher of my English class, which we're going to name him Mr. Oldley because he is old and he's Oldley. I'm not sure where I was going with that, but hey, we're going to keep in the video. And pretty much that's what happened. He came in, he's like, "What is this?" He saw smoke. Because the vent wasn't working. We had a vent, but it was like closed. We couldn't get up to it because it was too high. And so he sees smoke. He's like, "Thomas, and whoever is in this bathroom, come out now." So we're like, I whispered to my friend. I was like, fuck. That's Mr. Oldley, man. That's Mr. Oldley. He doesn't like me. He doesn't like me, dude. And he certainly hates you. Because he had him freshman year, like not freshman year, but like 6th grade year, and he was a complete. My friend Kobe, he was a complete dick to Mr. Oldley. Mr. Oldley was a complete dick to Kobe, vice versa. They had some beef. Put it aside, bro. Just it was some beef. That's what I would call it. And so Mr. Oldley finds out. He takes us down to the office. He just explains to the principal really fast what happened. He goes back to class because he still has a class waiting, and so goes back to the class. Principal calls us in. Our resource officer goes down to our class, his class, takes her bag. Well, he already had his bag. He went down to my class to take my bag out of class, bring it down to the office so they can search both of our bags and search our persons. So they do that. They find the weed. They're like, whose weed is it? Kobe speaks up. He's like, it's mine. And Kobe's parents does not give a shit. Like, Kobe's parents are just like that. They smoke weed. They do even worse of kind of drugs and stuff like that. They do pretty bad drugs. I'm not going to say what, but they definitely do. And they're definitely not a good role model. And he didn't care. His parents doesn't care. My parents grounded me. They found out the weed. They found out what was going on. I got 1 week suspension. He got a 2-week suspension because he was already on thin ice. He ended up getting suspended from this school, like permanently, like expulsion, I'd say. He couldn't go back to the school, but he could go to the high school linked up at this school, because it was the only high school in the area. So she's like, who is it? And the resource officer is like, come on, man, you're only in 6th grade and you're doing this kind of stuff. You know what I was doing back when I was a 6th grader? I was learning, man. Go to the class, man. You only got like 4 or 5 years left. Finish out. Be a good student. I want to see you back in this office for the rest of the year. Of course, I was back in that office like 6 or 7 times that year for like stuff like this. This is my first time ever smoking, so we're out in like we're not in the office itself, in her principal's office. We're out like side. The office is like the main area, and we're just sitting there. I'm freaking out. He's really just calm. We go in, we talk about, this who's weed, this is how long we're gonna get expelled. My parents get called. I go home. My parents didn't have a car then, so they sent me home on a school bus, like a private school bus. Because they were sending a couple other kids home because they had like a search day, and they found some kids with some knives, so they sent them on the same bus. Same thing happens. I was grounded for about 2 months. For this story, for like what happened at school. And my parents hated Kobe. Like, they didn't allow him to come over anymore because they looked at him as a bad influence because he peer pressured me. But I didn't tell him that, the school did. They ended up searching me, didn't find anything on me, just found a lighter, which they confiscated. And the principal was bad, everybody was mad. They had to confiscate all of his weed. They found shrooms on him, so he got even a bigger suspension, some ISS days too. That's kind of what happened. It wasn't really too harsh. And I got some ISS days. I got about 3 ISS days. ISS is in school suspension. I got 1 week out of school suspension. So a total of about 8, 9, 10, roughly 10 to 11 days of full not being in school suspension sucks. You sit in a classroom from start to finish of the school day. You don't really do anything except for unless if like teachers hand you work or they hand you work there, or you do homework, or you take your Chromebook out and you do work. But they confiscate your phone. They confiscate pretty much everything on you except for a pencil. The only thing they give you is your pencil, the work you're doing, if you're doing any work. And anytime you need your computer, you would have to turn your desk around so that the teacher in there, like it was 2 teachers in there, one in the front, one in the back. They would ask you to turn your desk 180 so they could see your computer screen, or just switch sides so they could see what you're doing. And if you weren't doing work, they confiscated your Chromebook, stick it in your bag, and put it on like a little hook they had. And they would put a sticky note on your bag saying whose bag this is. So if they ever had like a student caught with like weed or anything in there, or being generally bad in there, and they had to take his bag out, they would know what bag to grab, And it was about 2 to 3 other students in this room, and they ended up fighting. I'll be talking about that in a different story. They ended up fighting, and it was a whole cluster shit of absolutely ridiculous. I talked to my friend it was about 2 weeks before I seen him, and his phone got taken away. That's the only thing they took was his phone, cause his mother took his phone because I guess he wasn't paying like rent. Like he owed his mother some money because he like stole some money from his mother. So she took his phone and smashed it. So I couldn't text him anymore. And she stole his weed for like a month straight. That was his punishment. Anytime he got a weed, he would have to give it to her, and she didn't. If he didn't, she would smash his shit, like his computer and shit like that, which is like fucked. And my parents just grounded me for 2 months straight, and this was like about a month, I want to say, before school ended. So like the summertime was pretty boring. I got my stuff back early though, because I worked for it. So yeah, that was fun. I'm sarcastic. It was actually pretty depressing. I couldn't play Xbox or PS4, and it sucked. So this story time took place in 2016. So yeah, and I think the PS4 came out in like 2013 or something like that. So it was I would say very new. It was 3 years old roughly, and it was a game called Rainbow Six Siege out, and I was playing that really heavily. I still play it, and I couldn't play that game, and it made me very depressed. It was very sad, but I knew what I did, and we actually get caught smoking weed at my friend's place during the summer, so my parents weren't happy about that either, which I'll be talking about in a different story, because his mother and his dad are like Christians. Not Kobe, but my other friend. So this is gonna wrap up this story time. Moral of the story. What's our moral? Our moral of the story would be not to smoke weed in general, but if you're going to do it, don't do it inside of the school. Do it outside where they can't catch you as easily, because we were just rushing. It was, we ended up actually staying like a little bit later than normal, because we did this at like 1:30, and we were going to get lit out at 2:30, and we were in the office for about 3 to 4 hours about-ish. Yeah, so we stayed even longer. We could have just waited the hour and a half. We could have literally went outside and smoked in our smoke spot where everybody goes, which is known as the Tunnel, and you'll hear more about the Tunnel. The Tunnel has a very good name, and we'll tell you backstories about that tunnel, because it's a lot of things what happened, dude. It's so many things, it's actually ridiculous. Your girlfriend's probably been smashed by 5 different dudes in that tunnel. This tunnel has a very good reputation of people getting caught in it, so we gotta change it. But that's our today's story. Don't do weed in school. Take this as a learning opportunity, and do not make the mistakes I made.